Welcome to Speed Scene Live TV, the only show dedicated to the sportsman racer. Brought to you by Curry Rear Ends, Hedman Hustler Headers, M&H Tires, and TheFoat.com. With your hosts, Diana-mite, Bruce Barker, and Scott Lucky Hudson. And here we go. Welcome to the show. It's a Tuesday night, not just any Tuesday night, but one we will remember for a very long time. The United States of America, 9/11/2012, 11 years after that fateful day. I'm Bruce Barker. Bob Beck's in the studio. Man, Bob, I almost chose the wrong camera just right off the bat. So
really?
That really is you.
See, I keep playing musical chairs. You never know where I'm going to be sitting.
I know. And next you'll be sitting upside down from the ceiling, and then we'll really be in trouble.
Stormy's not here.
Hey, speaking of former guest hosts, thanks, by the way, to Dar and Donnie for stopping. But yeah, what a rip-roaring show that was last week.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you know what? This week, more of the same, more rip-roaring. Lucky Hudson's on the phone. Hey, Lucky, where are you at, man?
Hey, Bruce, I'm rip-roaring out here in the beautiful land of Georgia. Man, this is a beautiful state. I've got a chance to see some of the lakes and some of the area, and I am parked right now next to the Hedman Hustler header plant. And,
really?
Man, they are putting a brand new set of headers on my Curry rear end 66 Chevy Nova. But, you know, Hedman Hustler headers does more than just race headers. They also do, they've got a full line of street headers. They do trans-dep parts. They've got all kinds of LS1 swap parts and accessories. And they've even got these great oil pans. So I'm learning a lot about the entire Hedman header company.
So we're seeing the Curry Nova right now being backed off the trailer and onto the grounds. Is this near the Hedman Hustler Headers headquarters?
That's right. In fact, I'm in the parking lot. That video is showing it coming out of the trailer, and I'm still there. I'm still in that same exact location talking to you. And, of course, it's after working hours right now. Everybody went home. But we've been working on the Nova all day, and it's really looking good, man. Hey, you know, I'm really excited about the Hedman Hustler headers, but I got to put some congratulations out there to the Garland race team. They're one of the members that's involved in the ANRA Association, the ANRA Racing Association, and they just won the Summer Nationals in their front-engine dragster. Of course, you know, Dwight Garland driving it with Dwight Garland III as the crew chief. That's the Helter Skelter front-engine dragster. And, you know, they've been running Speed Scene Live stickers on the car for a long time. But I think this is the first time that they've actually been a points leader in their class. And there's just one more race coming up, the Summer Nationals. It's going to be at Bakersfield, October 12th and 14th, or the season finals, I mean. So winning the Summer Nationals, one race left. They got a 30-point lead. Things are looking good for Garland Racing right now.
Man, it's pretty sweet. Hey, you know, back to Hedman Hustler headers for a sec. Are we actually seeing, Lucky Hudson, are we seeing sort of a custom fabrication here? Because it seems like some of the tubes, it's not a complete header set, right, Bob? It
looks like it's assemble as you install.
That's right. They do custom header installs. You can bring your car, your truck, your monster truck, your dune buggy, whatever you have. They've got a late model dirt track car sitting here. You can bring anything you want down here, and they will build them on your car right here at their factory in Georgia.
Now, there's a square box on the end of the headers are fitting to your car. Is that a integral muffler?
Well, no, that's actually going to be a collector, and then they're going to add a muffler to it.
Wow.
And Hedman has a line of these little shorty mufflers that work great, and they bring the sound down, and you don't lose a lot of power, and they keep the torque up. And they're not physically big. They're about half the size and half the weight of the ones that I had on there before.
Wow. Noticing when you pulled out of the trailer there, the muffler was really close to the ground.
Yeah, that's the old collector mufflers that I've had, and that's been one of the issues that I've always been concerned about is, you know, there's no room for those big old things. And thankfully, Hedman Hustler Headers has come out with a line of really small, compact mufflers that you can put on your car. And, you know, nowadays, Bob, you know more than anything, being an announcer at Irwindale and many of these other great events, a lot of tracks are asking their racers to run mufflers to keep from getting in trouble.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
Yeah, Fontucky's one of the prime examples of that. Yeah.
Right.
Fontucky.
You know, you hate to lose a track because the neighbors are complaining about noise. So if us racers can put mufflers on our cars, quiet them down a little bit before we're required to, maybe we can kind of head the trouble off at the start there.
Yeah, well, and it looks like Keno the race dog is also quite enjoying the new Hedman Hustler headers install.
Yeah, they're giving him full reign of the facility, and he's making himself right at home. So, hey, tonight we got some great stuff. Of course, Hot Rod Bob, the bird is the word tonight?
You bet it. We're going to be talking about some really wild birds.
Well, I'm looking forward to that because, you know, you mentioned that Les Morris is building a bad bird right now.
He sure is. He's going to build a screaming bird. That's going to be one
so I'm looking
angry
forward
bird.
to that. Now, we're going to talk to Sarah Grieving tonight from the Super Chevy Show. She's going to talk to us about the Super Chevy event that's going on September 14th and 15th at Las Vegas. Also, we're going to talk to Atco Raceway. They are the new center of 10-5 racing because they've got a race coming up with $10,500 for the winner. And we're going to talk about that. And I want to let people know we got a lot of stuff coming up. Oh, yeah, National Trails Drag Slammer this weekend, sponsored by Jags. This weekend at National Trails. I'm heading out there right after I load that Curry Hedman car right back into the trailer. I'm going to head on up there.
Man,
great.
Yeah, that's going to be a sweet one.
Now, we've got the Cruising for a Cure.
Yep.
That's September 22nd, the world's largest one-day car show with over 3,400 cars. That's right, 3,400, and they're all cruising all day long. They've got a road through the whole place. You get to see them in action.
That's right.
There's going to be vendors there. The Curry Hedman booth will be there, and you can get your free prostate exam.
I'll pass.
Showing up.
Well, maybe not, but it depends on whether. Well, never mind. That's another story altogether. But so you're going to be there at the Cruising for a Cure. I'm going to be there at Cruising for a Cure because I'm going to be in the AAA booth, so they can stop by and see you over in Curry, and me over in the AAA booth.
Well, where the heck am I going to be?
I don't know, but Bruce, bring your camera.
Yeah.
Come on down, Bruce. In fact, we've got a big booth space out there, and if any of the Speed Scene listeners are planning on coming to the cruise, and you've got a Curry rear end in your car, come on by and you can park in the Curry booth and get a high priority spot there next to all the cruising.
So if they show you their rear end, they can park in your spot.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. You know, all I got to do is check the rear end because I am a rear end expert, actually.
Well, they are doing prostate exams too, aren't they?
It all ties in together. Now, you know, there's a new event that we're going to be talking about that's coming up October 7th in Ontario, California. It is the Streets of Thunder Motorsports event, kind of like the Covina Thunderfest.
Wow.
Does your name have
Similar to that, where you can meet drivers. There's going to be all kinds of cars and bikes, and you can get autographs. And if you are a driver, and, you know, I always talk about sponsorship and things you should do to get sponsored. Here's a great example of something you should do to kind of raise your level of exposure. Contact the people from Streets of Thunder Motorsports and go to their website, and you can sign up and be one of those drivers that people can come out and see and get an autograph. You can hand out hero cards, and you never know, you might meet that next sponsor that's going to be picking up your tab.
Yeah, and then that's true. It's also a great event to see the race cars stagnant. You can walk up right close to them. Instead of watching them from the grandstands at a track that you'd go to, they're going to be right there on the streets.
Man, that is nice. Hey, Lucky, by the way, you were mentioning that Sarah Grieving is going to be on talking about the Super Chevy Show, and she has just joined us on the line. You want to bring her on?
Let's do it, Bruce.
All right. Hey, Sarah, welcome to Speed Scene Live.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Sarah, it's such a pleasure to have you on the show. Now, September 14th and 15th at the Strip Las Vegas, Super Chevy Show returns for another successful event.
That is correct. We're actually going to go on to the 16th as well.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we've thrown in a third day.
Wow, lots of racing action, huh?
Yeah, a lot of racing action, car show action, autocross, swap meet, you name it, we're going to have it out there.
Now, the autocross is something that I'm particularly excited about because, of course, TCI and Curry Rear Ends are sponsors of that, and you've got a new sponsor, Camaro5.com.
Yes, yeah, we're really excited to have them on board with the autocross. They're really pulling in, more like pulling out all the stops and showing what those 5th-gen Camaros can do, not just be pretty show cars, not just be fast on the track, but agile too in autocross. So they're really excited about sponsoring that.
I remember being at the Phoenix Super Chevy show, and there was this great Chevy Camaro club that came out, and they all sort of, they had like a caravan coming out to the race, and they all came out as a club and parked together, and they all competed together, and it really made the whole event kind of special.
You know what? That's the same guys. That's the same guys.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Come out and see them.
Now, the autocross is for the guy that really wants to go road racing or wants to try it, but doesn't want to worry about damaging his car. And this is not necessarily a speed contest, but an agility contest through pylons. So you're not going to damage the car, but you can see what the handling's like.
Exactly. I mean, there is potential for damage. I mean, you got to give your car a break. You can't just go around and around and around and around. You know, you got to give it a break, give your brakes a break, and that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's great. It's great for the street ride, as well as a machine built for autocross with the Curry rear end.
There you go.
Now, Sarah, how do people get involved? Is it for everybody that participates at the Super Chevy Show?
Yes, absolutely. It's open to, it's free for anybody that's already entered in the car show. And drag racers are welcome to do it in between their brackets if they want to. They have to pay a little bit extra for that, but it's for any Chevy-bodied or Chevy-powered vehicle at the show.
Nice.
So I can almost bring my Plymouth Coupe up. It's got a Chevy motor.
Hey, there you go, man.
Yeah.
There you go. We have a lot of conversions. The only thing that we ask you to have is to bring a helmet, and you have to have seat belts in the car, and that's pretty much it. And if you're under 18, you have to have your parents' consent. But other than that, you're good to go.
I qualify.
Are you?
Yeah, Bob has his
just over 18.
consent.
Yeah, I got my parents in a little jar with me. It's not a problem.
What?
There you go. What I'm looking forward to most is watching for the Camaro 5 sponsored Cone Killer Award.
Cone Killer.
Yeah, that was what would happen if you took your Nova out there on an autocross, Becky. Your car would go your car would want to go straight, and that's a place to go turning.
Yeah, I'm really good at going straight, Sarah, but the turns in my little Nova, I'm not so good at. But, you know, TCI has a little Camaro. I think it's a 67 Camaro, little red one, and they are really good at taking those turns, stopping, because stopping is part of the event as well.
Yes, it is, especially speeding up to that really fast stop right at the end to get your time. And actually, I think it's a 68 Camaro. I posted a picture of it up on our Facebook page and on the Super Chevy Show website at superchevyshow.com.
Now, I went for a ride in that Camaro once. They had a young lady driving it who's one of the best autocross drivers in the country, and she was driving it, and she let me do a ride-along. And, you know, I'm used to fast cars, but I had no idea you could go that fast in such a short amount of time with the acceleration and the brake and the cornering and the acceleration. It was really exciting.
It is exciting, and it's something that anybody can really do in their car. It's not something that you have to have a super engine in like you do for the drag strip. You know, anybody can do it.
Now, Bob, you have that really nice-looking Corvette. That car would be a perfect autocar.
Yeah, you know, it would be, and I've thought about going to an autocross with my Vet. It's all set up. It's one of the factory hot rods for the year with the performance suspension and everything else.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes, it is.
Good for you, man.
And it's got air conditioning, so you can drive it cool. And, you know, you can listen to your Led Zeppelin CDs while you're cruising around the corners.
Yeah, well, I haven't been able to afford the Led Zeppelin, so I'm just listening to Led.
Led's half price.
Led's half price, yeah.
That's a magic word, Led Zeppelin. My gosh, that's my favorite. I'm actually wearing a Doors T-shirt right now, but you don't need to know that.
I've got the visuals, let me tell you.
So I'm a little blonde gearhead that likes old school metal.
Okay, that's coming out of the garage. I'm on my way.
Ah.
Yeah, because you know what? You just described Bob, old school metal.
There you go. Well, see, now you got to come out to the Super Chevy show in Vegas and see me.
Yeah.
I got to do that. I got to put that on the schedule.
Now, Sarah, where can people go to get more info, and how do they register?
They can register when they get there at the gate for the car show, for autocross, drag racing, whatever they want to do. If for more information as far as times, prices, things like that, just visit superchevyshow.com. Or we've got a couple links pasted up on our Facebook page, which is, Facebook/Super Chevy Show. So I think
nice. And of course, Las Vegas is such a great place to race because you can race all day and then you can go into town afterwards, and there's so many options to do, like church or bingo, or I'm sure there's different activities for everybody.
Exact, family friendly is what we like to do. Actually, beforehand on Thursday, we're actually going to have a free car show on Fremont Street under the canopy.
Oh, that's going to be
free
great.
for participants.
Oh, yeah, what a great venue that is.
Yeah,
wow.
So you can come out and get excited about the show a little bit early and show off your car under the bright lights under the canopy and all that, and it's free. Just contact the track to register on that. We've got limited spots.
Now you're going to be drag racing. What hours are you going to be drag racing? Is it something that spectators can come see throughout the day?
Yeah, we're going to be drag racing pretty much all day. Like doors open to doors closed. I mean, it's
more Doors references there.
Yeah.
Yeah. See?
Yeah.
I won't go into that any farther. There we go. Yeah, it's going to be from when the gates open at 9:30 to whenever we're done. So the more cars, the longer it's going to take. There's more drag racing. And then we've got a great pro show in between, too. We've got the Western Fuel Altered that's going to be there as well.
Nice.
Nice.
Those guys put on a great show. Those guys are a lot of fun. I've seen them a couple times. And, man, nothing better than an old school altered, and they're all over the track, and they put on a great show.
Every which way but straight.
Well, they'd be perfect for autocross, only they'd have to put up their own cones after they make the run.
Well, see, the other thing, too, is they'd have to plan on turning. That's something altered drivers don't do. It's never a planned operation.
Now, Sarah, I got to ask you, you mentioned you're a gearhead. What's your favorite car? If you could have any car in the world, and maybe you already have it, what would that car be?
Let's see. Do I out myself on the Chevy show, or do I need to stick with a Chevy?
What's your favorite Chevy?
I would stick with a Chevy. Yeah, it'd be politically correct.
Yeah, I think I would have to go with a Chevelle. There is a Chevelle in my dream car garage, definitely. Probably a 68.
I know it's hard to narrow it down to one. Like most gearheads, you probably have a short list, and then you turn that list over, and there's more on the back. But
I do. It's really
you got a lot
hard.
of cars you want.
There's always a couple. I'd really actually like an El Camino. I've got a soft spot in my heart for one of those because we had one when I was a kid. So
nice. Nice.
Yeah, I know, it's goofy.
Sarah, how many years has Super Chevy been going on? Because Doug Marion started it way back in the olden days.
Over 30.
Wow.
So almost as old as I am.
I think this is the 32nd year, Bob.
32 years, wow.
I actually won Super Chevy the 30th year, and that was 2 years ago.
Wow.
I was going to say that was in 2010, so yeah, we're at 32.
32 years. And, the thing that's great about Super Chevy Show is you get the racing, the drag racing, you got the autocross, you got the vendors. They usually have a swap meet going on. They've got the car show. And then they've got this pro show with, like she mentioned, the Western Fuel Alters. And, it's just stuff to do. You race your car, then you park your car, and you go up to the track, and you watch what else is going on. To me, it's the perfect way to run an event. You've got a little bit of everything for everybody.
That's exactly how I like to describe it. It's a little something for everybody. Whether you have your project car done or you're working on it, you can go to the swap meet and find that hard-to-find part, or you've got a late model that you want to, put some fancy aftermarket part on. You can go to the regular, manufacturer's Midway and do your research there, and it's a good time. It's a good time for everybody.
Looking at the video we're playing right now of the event, your last event up at Vegas, we've got one of our locals, Crazy Connie, who likes to pop wheelies in her Vega, and it looks great on set right now. She did a perfect wheelie and actually stayed in her lane, which is kind of interesting.
Does she not usually do that?
Well, sometimes, but normally it's with the wheels in the air. She changes lanes.
Very good. I'm really excited about this weekend.
Well, Sarah, thanks for calling us, telling us about it. That is September 14th through the 16th, correct?
Correct.
This coming weekend.
This coming weekend at Las Vegas. You can go to Super Chevy Show for more info. And when you get there, look for Sarah. She'll probably won't be wearing the Doors T-shirt, so you'll have to ask around.
Yeah, or a Led Zeppelin T-shirt. I got a few of those, too.
All right, sounds good.
Sarah, thank you so much. Looking forward to the event, and thank you for calling us here at Speed Scene Live.
Thank you so much for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it, and I hope to talk to you again soon. And I want to see you out there at one of our events.
That sounds great. Let's do it.
We'll plan on it.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Well, Bruce, let's take a commercial break, and when we come back, we may have somebody calling us from New Jersey at the ATCO track.
Absolutely true. That's right. In fact, Dave Godfrey is on the line right now from ATCO NJ, and we're going to be talking with Dave coming up next right here at Speed Scene Live. Keep it here.
Hi, my name's Joe Lapone. I'm the driver of the Darrell Hubbard D-Bar-D Racing Pro Street Camaro National Record Holder car. And when I'm not driving and tuning that car and working with my great crew, I'm watching Speed Scene Live.
Whether you have a hot rod that needs more hustle or a muscle car that needs more muscle, if it's more power you want, Hedman has it. Since 1954, Hedman headers have worked harder, fit better, and lasted longer than the new guys on the block. In fact, Hedman headers are so tough, they're guaranteed for life. So log on to Hedman.com tonight, because if it's more power you want, Hedman has it.
For over half a century, Currie rear-end components have been twisting out the torque and taking the punishment. And the new Currie lineup is stronger than ever. Some of the world's most capable, hardest-working vehicles depend on Currie gears, which is why you can too. Street cars, hot rods and resto rods, drag cars, rock-crawling four-wheel drive vehicles, whatever you're piloting, Currie expertise and rock-solid design means the parts will do their job, so you can do yours. Check out Currie's custom rear ends, featuring a full line of upgrades, components, and installation options. The Currie Crate rear ends lineup offers ultra-strong construction on third members and carrier assemblies. And other underside parts, like correct link steering systems, keep your four-wheeler pointed where you want it. Add in a wide variety of solid, purpose-built suspension and brake components, and you've got one tough, ready-to-go machine. Grab a hold of a Currie rear end. Talk to the experts at 714-367-2679 or view the complete line online at currieenterprises.com. Welcome back to Speed Scene Live TV with your hosts, Diana-Mite, Bruce Barker, Scott Lucky Hudson, The Off-Road Report with Bryant Layton, and The Great American Auto Scene with Bob Beck. And indeed, Bob Beck's coming up, Hot Rod Bob, in just a few minutes with The Great American Auto Scene. I'm Bruce Barker. Lucky Hudson calling in live from Georgia. And as well, Diana-Mite off on assignment tonight, as is Bryant Layton. He's cooking up some new dirt to dish next week. Get it?
Uh-huh.
All right, welcome back to the show. And hey, Lucky, I'll say welcome back to you as well, sir.
Hey, thanks. You know, one of my favorite kinds of racing, well, of course, is door car racing. I love door slammers. I love the fast cars. And one of the most exciting classes of fast door car racing is the 10.5 class. I'd love to do that class, to have all that horsepower and to put it down on the track with a 10.5-inch tire.
Wow.
Man, those cars are exciting to watch. They go really fast, and there's a great race happening at Atco Raceway. Let's bring our guest on and hear a little bit more about it.
Hey, welcome Dave Godfrey to the phone and to the show, Speed Scene Live.
Hello, hello, Lucky, and Speed Scene Live. Thanks for having us.
Hey, well, absolutely, you're welcome. And, man, so let us jump right in here with both feet, as it were. Let's talk about what's going on at ATCO.
Okay, well, the big news, of course, this Saturday, coming up September 15th, we're holding $10,500 to the winner of our Outlaw 10.5 race.
Man, that's a lot of money, Dave.
Yeah.
How many cars do you expect to show up?
I can actually tell you right now, our list is, we have 26 cars on the list as of right now.
Okay.
And, you know, all those guys are all going to have their stuff on kill for this event, because I think your race is probably one of the biggest purses of the year.
It really is. Our normal purse for these cars is $5,000, and it got bumped up for this Saturday. So we got a lot of support from racers, of course, companies, online entities and stuff that stepped up and bumped our purse up to $10,500, and we were overwhelmed by it. So, you know, we're expecting a huge turnout. And like I said, right now we have confirmed 26 cars, and these are going to be 26 of some of the fastest 10.5 cars in the country.
Now, Dave, an interesting thing, and in a minute I want you to mention some of the companies sponsoring it, but you mentioned that Halsey from Cecil County is one of the people involved. And, you know, he knows how to prep a track. He knows everything about this kind of racing, what the racers need. But it's interesting to see Cecil County working with ATCO for the benefit of the racers.
Yes, it is. They stepped up as a sponsor. The two tracks have worked together. We've actually run these 10.5 cars for about 10. Originally, we called them Quick 8 cars for about 10 years now, and we used to run them on Thursday nights for. They used to take home $300 for the winner.
Wow.
But the crowds love them. I mean, they're crazy. They have way too much power. They don't have enough tire. They look like street cars in a way. People can, they understand them. They look like the Mustang or the Camaro that kind of goes down the road. And Cecil's put on a great program for years. And a lot of people seem to like their rules, and we don't make any bones about it. And we say, you know what, we just run Cecil's rules. And it's always been, for the past couple of years, if you run at Cecil, you can run at ATCO. And we've kind of just we've helped each other out for the past couple of years. We both run a very similar program. And, and Jimmy wanted to help out. Like I said, we had a lot of sponsors step up for this race. And Jimmy and Cecil was one of them. And it was great to see. Like I said, we were completely blown away by it. We didn't really expect it.
You know, to me, that's the smartest thing in the world. Same rules. The racers that race at Cecil can race where you are without having to worry about rule changes. And I know that a lot of other associations are kind of looking at that going, wow, what a good idea. Why don't we just all use the same rules, the same weights? Everything is simple. Nobody has to change anything to go racing somewhere else.
Yeah, and like I said, you know, we've been running these cars for a while now, the two tracks, and we talk probably on a weekly basis. And we talk, you know, in the beginning of the year when the schedules come out and so forth, and we just try to plan ahead, and it really seems to work. Like I said, Cecil puts on a great program. I think we do too. Evidently, we're doing something right. I mean, it's pretty, and it's going to help us out with track prep and so forth, and running the race. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a ton of fun.
For those people that don't know what a 10.5 class is, why don't you give some background? I mean, what kind of ETs they're running? They run heads up, right?
It's heads up. We do run 8th mile. I mean, the cars have gotten so fast that we no longer. I don't really think anyone really runs them quarter mile anymore. I can tell you our track record, Mo Hall set in a nitrous car at our last race, 4:19.
Wow.
Our mile per hour record is Larry Wood at 193.
Oh, man.
Wow, that's so fast.
We've had a jet car at Irwindale run 4:19.
Yeah. And the turbo cars, I mean, they're doing it at 3,000 pounds.
Wow.
Wow, that's just...
It's something to see.
That is amazing. And a 10.5 tire, so the rules are basically you got to meet safety for the ET, but it's out the back door. Get there first, run with your brung.
Basically, it's first one to the finish line. The rules are really about engine combinations, small block, big block. The class is dominated by big blocks with twin turbos. There might be a few single turbos out there or big block, nitrous cars. The nitrous cars get a little bit of a weight break, but it's, a green light, they say, and a wind light. First one to the finish line. I know Jason Enos is coming here. He's gone 4.11. Anthony DeSoma's coming, who's the only Outlaw 10.5 car to go over 200 miles per hour. All of our regular guys, of course, are going to be there, too. The Casper's going to be there. TJ just went 4.19 down at the Yellow Bullet race.
Jeez.
A lot of these guys, like Steve Gorman's been 4.19. Billy Mitchell's been in the 20s. It's going to be a lot of heavy hitters there.
So we're talking about pro stock times and ETs and mile per hours, but without the tire.
No, and it can be frustrating at times because they're very unpredictable. But I think that's what the fans like. The trick is to get that tire to hook up. What amazes me is their 60-foot times at, when you watch them. The nitrous guys sometimes are 104, 105, and they're just doing it with that tiny little tire. And it's absolutely amazing.
Another thing that's remarkable about them, not only do you have the small tire, not only are a lot of them running, like you said, 3,000 pounds, but the engine is in the stock location. They have the firewall in the stock location, and they have stock front suspension. So it's not like a top sportsman car with the engine set way back and strut front end. And the front of the car is a regular car.
So basically, your Nova wouldn't qualify for this.
No, I can't do it in my car. It's two chassis car, not allowed.
Wow. That's amazing. Wow.
In so much horsepower. Dave, I don't know if you know how much, but it's got to be over 2,000 horsepower.
I've been told the twin turbo big blocks are making anywhere from 3,000 to 3,500.
Holy cow!
We're talking old nitro fuel car horsepower here.
Like I said, it's absolutely amazing. And what's great about it, when they're on a great run, a lot of them, they sit back on the wheel. They got the wheelie bars that. And they just sit back on the rear tires and plant those wheelie bars and just carry the front tires straight through, 660 feet down the track.
Wow.
It is really, it's something to see. It really is.
So they're almost
the most exciting racing going on today.
That is got to be the most exciting sportsman racing.
It's amazing, and the nitrous cars too. Of course, they're shooting the flame. They're purging the nitrous on the line. The fans love that. Then they're shooting the flames out the exhaust at nighttime. And they're side by side. And the rules, we think are pretty good because it seems the nitrous cars are competitive with the twin turbos. You're going to see a lot of Mustangs. You're going to see Camaros. You're going to see Corvettes. You're going to see some older body cars. You're even going to see probably like a Buick Regal Grand National body style. So it's a lot of different cars mixing it up. And you said they look like street cars. Of course, they're race cars, but they have that look and feel of a street car, and that's the whole idea behind it. And it's way too much horsepower and not enough tire.
and the problem is what? Horsepower.
Dave, can you tell us some of the companies that are sponsoring this race?
I'd be more than happy to. J&E Automotive Performance, of course, which is Joe Newsham. Cecil County Dragway with Jimmy Halsey. YellowBullet.com with Monty. K&K Advanced Store Car Technology with Kenny Doak. Casper's Corner, Tom Casper. Gil Christie Motorsports, Gil Christie. DeSoma Racing Engines, Anthony DeSoma. Glenwood Performance and all. We're even giving away $100 to the #1 qualifier, courtesy of Dave Hansen, New York Motorsports. And I got to tell you, we picked up so many sponsors for this race. We always give out a big check. We had to make the check bigger to fit all the sponsors on there. So we really, in all honesty, we could not do this race without the help of those sponsors.
Well, it's great to see the companies involved, and a lot of these companies that you mentioned, Joe Newsham, Kenny Duke, these are racers that race this class, that have been involved in this type of racing for years, and it's nice to see them give back to the class. I always tell people, what have you done for drag racing lately? And these guys are stepping up. They're putting their money where their mouth is. They're supporting 10.5 racing, and it's great to see that. And I think them, Jim Halsey, all the people, Cecil County, they all deserve a lot of respect for coming out and making this big race happen.
Yeah, we really can't thank them enough. Like I said, they've been supporting us. Like I said, we've been running these cars for about 10 years now. We've been trying to support them, and they've been supporting us. And, it looks like it's really, some people I've heard say Outlaw 10.5 is dead. Well, we're going to have 20 cars on the property on Saturday, maybe more. And we had all these sponsors that keep supporting us. So it seems like it's going stronger and stronger here in the Northeast.
Sounds great, Dave. Is there a website that people can go to for more info?
Yeah, our website is just actoraceway.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, even on YouTube. We have an official YouTube channel. So you might see some highlights pop up.
Thanks so much for calling in.
So thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
So that is this weekend, Atco Raceway, one of the biggest 10.5 races of the year, $10,500 up for grabs. And, he mentioned all those people that have already said they're coming. I bet you another half a dozen guys show up just at the last minute that he doesn't even know are coming.
Yeah, one thing I was going to ask him, and I never got a chance because I didn't think about it quick enough, but when they race in the wintertime, do they have wrinkle wall snow tires?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good, yeah.
I figured you deserved an answer.
You're about the only one.
Well, you know what? You guys, I'm going to let you go because I'm out here in Georgia and it's getting late.
Yeah.
I'm out here at the Hedman Hustler Headers Company, and, man, I've been working on the car all day. I think it's time for me to take the rest of the day off. I'm going to turn the show over to you guys. Take it away, you guys.
All right. Thanks, Lucky.
All right.
Travel safe.
Yeah, that's Lucky Hudson out on the road. He'll be back with the show next week. I'm Bruce Barker. That, of course, Hot Rod Bob. Hey, Bob, we got to take a quick break. What do you think? The Great American Auto Scene coming up next?
I've been holding up the gas for us for a long time.
Ah, good for you, if in a manner of speaking.
Yeah, good for you, too. No, never mind.
We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Troy.
And Darlene.
From the UMTR, and we watch
Speed Scene Live.
Tuesday night.
M&H Tires, makers of racing tires that give you the best bite for the buck. You've paid a lot for that horsepower. Make sure you use it all. M&H Tires has the best compounds available for maximum traction. Go to mandhtires.com. That's mandhtires.com. Buy direct and save at the website and mention the Speed Scene for a 5% discount. That's right, mandhtires.com. Call them at 661-324-4773. M&H Tires has tech guys ready to answer your questions or to recommend the best tire for you. Slicks or DOT. M&H Tires has it all. M&H were the first to create racing tires for muscle cars and also the first to create racing tires for sport compact cars. Legendary M&H Tires. Shop online. Mention the Speed Scene and save 5%. Get the best racing tires, great personal service, and save 5%. Go to mandhtires.com or call them at 661-324-4773. mandhtires.com.
Whether you have a hot rod that needs more hustle or a muscle car that needs more muscle, if it's more power you want, Hedman has it. Since 1954, Hedman headers have worked harder, fit better, and lasted longer than the new guys on the block. In fact, Hedman headers are so tough, they're guaranteed for life. So log on to Hedman.com tonight, because if it's more power you want, Hedman has it.
everyone in the armed forces that has served to defend our great country and our freedom. All of us here in the United States of America would like to offer our sincere appreciation for all that you do and all that you've done. To every family that has made a sacrifice for us, we thank you.
Welcome back to Speed Scene Live TV with your hosts, Diana-mite, Bruce Barker, Scott Lucky Hudson, the Off-Road Report with Bryant Layton, and the Great American Auto Scene with Bob Beck. Yes, we are back. There's that Bruce Barker guy there.
There he is.
And there's that...
I remember you.
There's that Bob Beck guy
Who's
there.
that old guy?
Ooh. Remembering those who gave their lives both trying to save people and, of course, just had no idea what was going on 9/11/2001. Man, it's hard to believe it was 11 years ago, Bob.
Yeah, it is. You know, you think back, everybody remembers where they were that day.
Where were you that day?
You and I were talking. I was up in Las Vegas. I was working up there at a show.
So you were in Vegas.
Yeah.
I was here in Southern California. And I don't know about you, man. I walked... The very first thing I realized where there was something weird going on, I was going to head off to a radio station. I was filling in for somebody that week on the air.
Yeah.
And I stopped at a 7-Eleven, got a soda, and a guy standing next to me said, "You heard what happened in New York?" I said, "That's kind of a weird thing to say." Yeah. What happened to New York?
Yeah.
And I thought he was joking when he said what was going on. So, turn on the radio on the way to work. It's like, holy cow.
Yeah, well, I didn't watch TV, and I didn't turn on the radio in the morning, and I got dressed, showered, cleaned, headed to work, and I was walking over to the convention center in Vegas from the hotel I was staying at. There was no traffic.
None.
And it was like an air show going on because there was all these military aircraft, jets and everything else going around, and I'm watching them and I'm going, that's kind of interesting. Well, I'm close to the airport in Nellis Air Force Base. I don't think much of it.
Yeah.
And then when I walked up to the front doors of the convention center and was surrounded by armed people, I knew something was not quite right.
Wow.
So, that was a frightful day.
It was a frightful day, a frightful week. Man, those shocking images. Well, the news channels are doing a good job of, I don't want to call it rehashing, but of sort of, bringing the images back as much as we can stand of them. And, it's something we will not forget for a very, very long time.
Yeah, I hope we don't.
Yeah. Hey, so the Great American Auto Scene, it's time to plug into some more fabulous cars.
That's right. I'm Bob Beck, and you've got gas. The Great American Auto Scene here on Speed Scene Live. And tonight we're going to be talking about some rare birds. And we're not talking about the feathered kind. These are the Thunderbirds.
I got to admit, I was a little worried at the start of the show. You and Lucky were talking about birds. I was going, the Pontiac Sunbird?
Yeah. No. Back in 1955, Ford had their work cut out for them. Chevrolet had introduced the Corvette in 1953. They were 2 years behind the curve. They put together what they thought was going to be a car to answer the Corvette challenge. It more than answered the Corvette challenge. They had more orders in the first 30 days than Corvette sold in a year.
Holy cow, I did not realize. I knew it sort of dominated, but I didn't realize it was that.
They did. They knew what was wrong because Chevrolet had already done that.
Well, I think in fact, I'm going to point out, too, that would be a 55 right there.
55 or 6. Now, I can't tell the difference between a 55 and 6. I'm sure someone's going to tell us. The 57's easy to tell. The 55, that it's probably a 55 because it doesn't have portholes and it doesn't have a Continental kit.
And I believe, as well, you need to have, there's a vent door.
That's right. The vent door is right on the side below the hash marks.
That's right.
To let air inside because they found out that there was a lot of heat trapped inside that car.
Yeah.
And they put the portholes in the 56 because they found those were big blind spots back there.
Big blind spots.
Big blind spots. They added the Continental kit because the Bear took up almost all of the trunk.
Yeah, sadly, I think the Continental kit gave it sort of a rear overhang. That's
but it was just beautiful.
Well,
we're seeing a lot of. There's one. There's the 56, and you can see it. It's got the vent doors there on the side, and it's got the Continental kit. Now, one thing about the T-Bird, they learned from Chevrolet's mistakes with the Corvette, and yes, there were mistakes. They had roll-up windows.
Indeed.
They had comfortable seating. They had a V8.
A V8. We were going to get to that.
And the Corvette did not have a V8 until 1955, knowing full well Ford was after them. Now here's a 61 T-Bird coming up here now. This one's a custom. It's got a chop top, candy paint job, gold accents. It's beautiful. This car took the best modified at the Thunderbird show I was at, where these photos come from. There it is, Classic Rides. They're at a lot of car shows here in Southern California and even Northern California. They do some great photographs of your hot rod, your muscle car, your custom, your stock car, and they will print them at the event.
Oh,
so they're not going to take your money and run. They're going to be there for you, and they do some great photography. Here's the Corvette we were talking about. This one being a 1955 edition. They kept the early body.
180.
Oh, beautiful Packards, yeah.
Now, would another weak point for the Corvette that Ford kind of capitalized on would have been, I believe the original Corvette had a 2-speed automatic, right?
2-speed automatic and a 6-cylinder.
Yeah.
They also did not have door locks. And
I didn't know that.
No roll-up windows, no door locks, no door handles. You had to open the doors from the inside. There was no way to secure the vehicle. Now, the styling was good, and people liked the styling, but it wasn't practical.
Huh.
Now, Ford also found out, and we'll switch back to some of the Ford photos here in a moment, about the 2-seat Thunderbird. As popular as it was, the resale or the next sale to a new buyer was not there. If they had the 2-seater Bird, it was a secondary car in most cases. You couldn't take family in them. You couldn't carry anybody in them, and they were limited as what you could carry at all. So the designers and the engineers and the marketing department put their heads together and said, well, why don't we just keep the T-Bird flavor and make it bigger? Put a couple of seats in the back. And in 1958, what's known as the Square Bird came out, and we've got some photos of those coming up. This is another 55. Here's a 56 again. You can see it now. You've got the side vent there.
Indeed.
This is a mid-60s, early 60s T-Bird, and they were really nice. This is a 65 or 66 T-Bird. That was one of the second Square Birds, or the Jet Age birds that they came out with. The styling, they stretched the chassis, and it shared a lot of chassis components with the Lincoln. Here is the Square Bird. This car just flat rocked, and Les Morris, one of our watchers, is building one of these. He's going to call it a Pro Stock Thunderbird, and he's got a mountain motor going in it. Now, this 57 Thunderbird is one I saw in magazine articles back in the day. It's got a fiberglass hardtop fastback roof and a single overhead cam, a real sock motor Ford in the engine compartment.
Wow.
This is a race motor. He's tuned it down for the street, and I'll tell you what, when he starts that thing up, it's not detuned very much. It sounds awesomely healthy.
Now, was the reason here better aerodynamics with that fastback roof?
You know, I'm not quite sure. I saw this. I tried to find my old magazine articles on this car last night and couldn't locate them, but it was an amazing car, and that was the styling, and I've never seen another top on a car like that. I don't know if he special built it, but he did put the engine in, and he's owned that car for going on 45, 50 years.
How about that? Hey, spring much forward, more recent versions of the Thunderbird.
Later model Thunderbirds, they kept the Thunderbird theme, and at this point, after 1956 and 57, they became a personal luxury car.
Yes.
And they were mostly 2 doors. Now, I say mostly because in the mid-60s, about 1966, 67, they offered a 4-door Thunderbird for the first time.
I had a 67 Thunderbird for a while. Now, I believe mine was a 2-door, as I recall. But, it was definitely large enough. And the back doors, correct me if I'm wrong, on at least on the 67, I think, might have been suicide doors.
They were suicide. They shared them with the Lincoln.
Yeah. And I think they were built on the same assembly line.
They were built on the same chassis, same assembly line. Windshields were the same. Cowl was the same. It was the sheet metal that was different. And the Lincoln got a bigger motor. Although the Thunderbird always had V8 motors until emission years, and then the later emission years they even had a turbo 4-cylinder. They had inline 6s, they had V6s, they had a 255 cubic inch V8. Here's another Square Bird, and I love the Square Birds. They are just so neat. Here's a 57, a little bit modified. He's got some nice wheels on it. That's about it. But the Thunderbird was in production up until, and it became a 2-seater again, 2005. They brought back the 2-seater under critical acclaim. It was a neat piece. The first year, 2002, was a little bit down on horsepower, so the next year they upped it to 300. But the Thunderbird has gone through many iterations. This one on the Fox body, same chassis as the Mustang.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
So it was a much smaller personal
much smaller.
luxury car.
Saved about 1,000 pounds in weight, but the engines were anemic. 255 cubic inches worth of V8 was the V8 that year. They ended up having 302s, 351s, 428s, 390s. They had tri-power. They had superchargers in 1957. The F-Bird. And they had some great performance cars. There was also a Roadster version. Now, the Roadster version still had a collapsing top, but had a fiberglass tonneau with headrests built in, so it looked like a two-seat car. And that existed through about 1965-66.
I think I've seen those at car shows. That's a pretty sleek. It turns it into even more sort of a luxury cruiser boat.
Yeah. Now, if we find, I don't know if we've got another shot of this car, but this is one of those cars with that fiberglass tonneau. He had during judging, he had to put the windows and the top up for the judges, but the top would go back into the trunk. The trunk was hydraulically operated,
like
and the tonneau,
and
the tonneau just stayed there.
Wow, that is just something, man.
But these are beautiful birds. It was a great show. Over 80, I'd say, Thunderbirds of different years were at this event on the grass in Anaheim, and it was just flat amazing to see that many Thunderbirds all together. Now, this was before judging. They were able to open their hoods and such to show off their engines, and the detail and the craftsmanship of some of these cars' restorations was just amazing. The blue one to the right of the screen was just flat gorgeous, and the guy has owned it for so many years. He's even got a small, I think it's gasoline-powered version for his grandson to drive around. But he got it from when his grandson was a lot smaller. He can't drive it anymore. He's too big, but he got to drive the real one.
Oh, how about that? Hey, I want to flash back just for a second or two. Let's see if we can here to one of the last Thunderbirds.
Yeah, there we go.
That's what you're talking about.
That's right.
You know, to me, as a style, they did okay, but I think a couple of things would have really improved that car in terms of style. One of those being the hooded headlights was something a Thunderbird just traditionally had, and of course these, for aerodynamic reasons, are pushed way back as if the eyeballs are, they're wind driven. They're poking out there, and as well there was no tail fin at all.
No,
on the
not at all.
Thunderbird, and they're kind of
should have been something.
Yeah, should have been something.
Well, we say that from a styling aspect, but from a safety aspect.
Oh yeah,
no fins because people run into them in crosswalks, huh?
Yeah.
And then the headlight covers, well, the eyebrows, that sticks out too far and that gets hit and gets damaged, so you can't do that. But the cars were very well accepted. The later Thunderbirds had some great color combinations. The interiors were really nice. This one of the T-Birds was one of the last full size, I guess you could say, T-Birds. It also sat on a Fox body chassis, which was shared with the Mustang. They had V8s. They had a turbocharged 4-cylinder and supercharged V6s.
Yeah, now I may be totally wrong here. I may be blowing smoke, as it were, but I seem to recall that Thunderbird, that Aero Thunderbird, was it might have been Ford's first production vehicle. They spent some phenomenal amount of money in development, like $1 billion, to get that thing on the road. And it lasted for a good number of years, I think.
Well, it was also the body they used for stock car racing for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
NASCAR used that, and then when Ford got out of the two-door vehicles and GM got out of the two-door vehicles, then you had four-door vehicles, and they're made to look like two-door vehicles, and they're silhouette cars now.
Yeah.
So, but I always loved the Thunderbird, the 61 and later when they switched to the jet-style Thunderbirds, the jet age birds. They had wraparound seats. The steering wheel moved to the side when you got in. It wasn't a tilt column. It just moved out of the way.
I know, man. They're like spaceships inside.
Yeah, they're just amazing. And someday, if I hadn't bought my Corvette a while back, that was one of the cars that was on my list to get.
How does a person choose?
Too many cars, not enough money.
It is so true. Hey, Bob, I know we got a few minutes, and we weren't able to because, of course, the free-for-all last week resulted when Donnie and Dar were here.
Dar, yeah.
And,
Diana-mite, yes.
Yeah, Diana-mite. We didn't get to do a Great American Auto Scene last week, and I don't know if it's something we ought to pick up on in terms of what we might have been doing for last week.
We can flash through it. I was at the Primer Nationals up in Ventura at the fairgrounds. Actually, they call it the Ventura Nationals now. It started out as the Primer Nationals, lasted for 8 years as the Primer Nationals, and now for the last 2 years they've called it the Ventura Nationals. And that's a show, and I'll tell you what, it is a neat show. There were more tattoos and piercings that I've ever seen at one place, but the rods and customs and the primered and show cars were just amazing. You name it, it was there. Chop tops, Frenched headlights, traditional hot rods.
Yeah. Now, you probably saw a lot of old speed parts, too, on some of those traditional hot rods.
You did. And this one's got a nailhead Buick in it.
Jeez, man. Some gorgeous cars. How many cars would you say were at this thing?
There were well over 600 cars at the Primer Nationals, and they were just amazing cars. Here's a car in suede with scallops.
Oh, yeah.
This one I've seen this 30 vintage Ford all over it. This is a flat amazing, and it's an award-winning car.
Is that it's an Airflight?
It's an Airflow.
An Airflow, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The Airflight took the place of the Airflow.
Yeah, well, and that one's a DeSoto.
Yeah, all right. Not a Chrysler, a DeSoto.
DeSoto, right.
Yeah.
And the fadeaway paint jobs, the hot rods, on the grass, in the cool. While you guys were suffering in the L.A. area with 100 degrees, we barely got above 70 at Ventura at this event.
Wow, that's hard to believe. And yet the sun was shining.
Sun was shining. It was beautiful weather. A little bit of a breeze to keep it cool, and the cars were just amazing. The people were super. But you saw all the custom touches. George Barris was there. Candy Clark, who we've had on the show before, was there.
From American Graffiti.
Right. That's the lady.
Okay, I want to make sure I got the name right.
That's the lady, and you saw it. A lot of guys refer to some of these cars as rat rods, but look at this Kaiser. That is a true custom.
Wow. The sign of a true custom is when you start to not recognize what it is. Like this AMX station wagon?
No, that was a Chevelle station wagon.
What?
He shortened it.
Oh, and that's a Camaro grill. I see.
Yeah, he put a Camaro grill in the Chevelle, 66 Chevelle body. And this car was at the show I was at this last weekend as well, up in, where was I? Oh, at the Harbor Cruise in Channel Islands Harbor. Well, now, this one I did for you, Bruce.
Yeah.
This
Lincoln, nice. Oh, and look at that
Another
Thunderbird.
Jet Age Bird.
Yeah, oh, jeez, man.
The flames, the candy paint jobs. I'll tell you what, there was more candy apple and custom flake paint jobs there than I've ever seen before. It was like the old days of the indoor car shows. Just amazing bodywork, paint jobs, and then, you had the mild customs. This one, they just removed some of the trim, lowered it down, some nice wheels. And the night before, we had a cruise night, which was cool. I love this 53, 55 Ford F-100. The canted Chrysler headlights, the fins coming off the rear bed of the car or truck, the side skirts, the bullet hubcaps, and this was just out in the parking lot.
Jeez, it wasn't even in the show.
It was part of the show. It overflowed into the parking lot.
I'm going to guess that's a late 50s DeSoto front bumper, but I could be wrong.
Could be, yeah. DeSoto or Chrysler front bumper. You're right. And matching headlights. Oh. So whatever year the headlights came from, the bumper did.
Man.
Then you got the wagon. This is the shaker. Little T. And here, this was gorgeous. This was candy-colored, panel-painted 54 Chevrolet.
Look at the roof.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Great stuff.
Oh, man, Bob.
The Primer Nationals in Ventura County. It's Labor Day weekend every year.
Oh, we might have to pop a few more photos, in subsequent editions of Speed Scene Live, because obviously we didn't have... Oh, look at that Studi.
Yeah.
Oh, we just didn't have time to get through it all. Is that an Austin?
That's an Austin Bantam pickup.
You did it all, Bob.
I know.
Oh, unbelievable. Yeah, look at this. We're running out of time. Maybe we'll just spool through a whole bunch more photos as we close out the show. Hey, Bob, it's been great to see you this week.
It's great. It's good to be here always.
Yeah, and of course, thanks to our guest, Dave Godfrey, and as well calling in Sarah Grieving, for the Super Chevy show. So, man, great
I got to figure out how to get to that sometime. I mean, unfortunately, I've got other plans for this weekend, but Super Chevy this weekend at the Strip in Las Vegas, the place to race.
Yeah, that's a good one. What are you doing this weekend?
I am going to the Route 66 rendezvous in San Bernardino, California. 4 days of cruising, customs, and hot rods.
Oh, man, it's going to be toasty warm out there.
It is, but check me out. Stop by and say hi at the AAA booth. I'll be there Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, man.
And then Thursday night, Irwindale Drag Strip. It's open at 5 p.m. Come and race with us.
Be there, be there.
That's right.
Hey, if you want to be here for the encore presentation that comes up next for the show, thanks so much for joining us. I believe both Lucky and Dynamite are back next week. We should see Brian Layton again on the show as well very soon. Bob, again, good to see you, man.
Nice seeing you again, Bruce. Take care.
All right, you too. Hey, coming up next, the encore presentation of the show. Thanks again so much for joining us for Speed Scene Live tonight. We'll join you right here live next week at SpeedSceneLive.com.
Good night, everybody.
Speed Scene Live TV, the #1 online motorsports TV show. Brought to you by Curry Racing Rear Ends, M&H Tires, and TheFoat.com.